without their young gun in Mary Fowler, but a youthful and talented lineup about to perhaps cause Sydney FC a couple more problems. Sydney FC on 12 points at the moment on the ladder. Western Sydney Wanderers and Melbourne City on 16. So Sydney FC looking to keep pace with those at the top. Two changes for Ante Juric this afternoon for Sydney FC. Out drops Ali Green, who has a glute problem, picked up in the derby, understandable, after running after Lynn Williams in that first half at Bankwest Stadium. And also dropping out of the starting lineup is Princess Sabini. In comes Liz Ralston and Veronica Lachko. Her first start of this campaign for a new club after starring last campaign with Adelaide United. And there's Alana Kennedy, big smile on her face. As usual, she looked at direct traffic at the back. As for Ivan Karlovic and his Adelaide United side, Georgia Campagnoli drops out of the starting lineup, as does Mary Fowler, who's not even here. She picked up a bit of an ankle problem and should be right for next week, but doesn't make the trip here to the Harbour City. In comes Laura Johns, who'll play left back, and Dylan Holmes in the centre of midfield. And there's their very talented Brazilian in Lace Araujo. She's been capped at numerous levels for underage sides for Brazil. She's on the cusp perhaps of making her debut for the national team, and she's been a quality addition to the W League this season. Grew up in poverty in Salvador in Brazil, in a favela, but has made the most of her undoubted talent. So a big issue here for Ante Juric to solve from last week. What happened with Sydney FC was so out of character with what they've done so far this season. And it's a very good afternoon to Michelle Heyman. We're looking forward to seeing how Sydney FC respond.
Yeah, definitely seeing how they bounce back from last week's loss. And I know Sydney FC quite well, and the type of girls that they are, that they'll definitely want to bounce back from that one and try and get a goal in the first couple of minutes. I think the way that Remy's been playing as well in the past game, she's been scoring quite early. So if they get her to actually get the ball quite early in the game, I think they could be successful. And
as mentioned, it's warmish, humid conditions in Sydney. Not a lot of wind around, high smoke haze, so it's not horrible. You can't smell it, you can just see it high in the sky. But it's reasonable conditions. The sun hid behind that smoke haze, and again, thoughts go out to those fighting those fires, which haven't been extinguished yet. Here we go. Sydney FC, how do they bounce back after last week's derby? And Michelle, Adelaide United, it is extraordinary, their set of results so far this season, those 5 one-goal losses.
It's never easy, and it's always heartbreaking to just lose by 1 goal in each game. But I think I was talking to Ivan before kickoff, and he is quite positive with the girls, and they all seem very positive. So hopefully they can come out today, play their game, and just come away with a little bit more success.
A lot of space for Remy Simpson to turn and shoot there. She's playing centrally, and Lachko is starting on a flank for Sydney FC. So a little bit of a surprise in that respect, but we'll see what transpires throughout the course of this 90 minutes. Ante Juric saying in the lead up to this one that Lachko won't play the full 90. She's not quite up to it just yet, but it's good to see her get her first start. And you know a hell of a lot about her as a quality footballer, Michelle, after your time in Adelaide last season.
Yeah, definitely happy for her to be starting, and I think it's a smart move to just not allow her to play the 90 minutes yet. She is coming off the ACL, so she definitely needs to just ease back into it all.
Here's Lace looking to find the striker this afternoon, Chelsea Dorber, number 10 for Adelaide United. Talking to Ivan Karlovic before, has no qualms about the fact that Mary Fowler isn't there, and putting Dorber in there. Another talented youngster, 19 years of age, and unbelievable scoring record in the NPL of South Australia last season. In 2 games, not 1 but 2 games, she scored 6 goals in a game. So that is extraordinary in itself, as Johns goes back to Sarah Willis, who's put under all kinds of pressure there from Lachko, but gets away with it, and Adelaide can move down the right. There's Hogg, who is able to find Dorber, who's in behind, and Alana Kennedy well positioned to clear for Sydney. Yeah, apparently got a bit to her game, Dorber. She can play short, she can play in a wide position, or play that role of stretching the back four by going in behind.
Yeah, and we played a little bit last year together. She was carrying a few injuries, so we didn't really see her out on the pitch.
It's Johns and Dorber again, looking to link up with Charlotte Grant on the right. It didn't quite work, but good early signs from Adelaide United. So Ellie Brush able to find Caitlin Ford, who's able to come off that back four and find the ball pretty comfortably. Brush again, and Huerta, former Adelaide United player, played a season in the City of Churches, putting Johns under all kinds of pressure, but too much pressure in the eyes of referee Kelly Jones. They've sorted the pitch out here at Cogra, which is good to see. A few issues early in the season. Looked a bit patchy.
It's looking quite nice now.
Simpson able to pick up the ball and turn in a dangerous position, and Caitlin Ford bombing down this right-hand side. Never looked comfortable over the top of the ball, but Huerta's able to get on the end of it. Willisey would avoid a collision with the advancing Lachko, and out it goes to relative safety for Adelaide United. But let's go again. Polias, who was given no time on the ball last week against Western Sydney Wanderers, and that's a little bit of a cheap turnover as Adelaide United can push deep into the half of Sydney FC. That's just offside for Dorber, but it was a neat move, and Ari Webber, who's been very, very good for the Reds so far this season, was almost able to set Dorber free.
That's the kind of attack that we'd like to see from Adelaide United. I think they got some pace coming through the midfield as well, so it was good for them to be able to use that, and it was a great ball through, and I think she was onside.
Tight. Very tight.
I always think forwards are onside, though.
Yeah. No shock. You see the ones in the Premier League overnight. Someone was called offside VAR by 3 millimetres.
Yeah, I don't believe in the VAR. I don't think anyone does.
If you do, I don't mind it.
When it's for your team or something.
But it is interesting coming back to a game which doesn't have it, and then you just get on with it. So if they do end up scrapping it, I do wonder if everyone will just take into consideration a bit how hard it is to be an assistant referee, and indeed a referee as well. I have my doubts about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in their position ever.
Everyone just likes blowing up.
Exactly.
It's a reason to vent. Here's Kennedy. The left gun showing, the right one still hidden away. Put the sleeves up already. Here's Webber able to turn the ball over in a dangerous position here for Adelaide United. She has been very, very good, as mentioned. Ari Webber for Adelaide United, the American. Hogan sliding in as Polias with an interesting challenge on the edge of the box. All ball.
It's her trademark, for sure.
Ellie Brush has found herself over there on the left, and Liz Ralston. It's good to see Liz back after a few injuries.
Definitely nice to see her back out there. She has a lot of quality, and I think she's one of the players for Sydney FC that has learnt and grown up playing within this team. I rate her quite highly as a centre back, so it's nice to see her out there on as a left back, see how she goes with the pace of the game.
You do get the feeling that Adelaide are just looking to springboard off and counter-attack quickly. They've got some players in that final third this afternoon that, and even if Mary Fowler was here as well, that can cause the opposition more than a few problems. And Alana Kennedy got a bit cute there, but got away with it. Brush is a little more decisive, but unfortunately can't find Ralston on that left-hand side. Yeah, they've already played this season as well, these two sides, and Adelaide were a little unfortunate not to come away with something.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they've just been unfortunate for the whole season this year, which is always hard as a player to get your mind around that. But the way that they're playing right now is looking quite positive, and
nothing comes of that. Dorber unable to bring it down. She's just clutching at maybe a left knee there. Hopefully everything he's okay. It's the last thing Owen Karlovic wants is another injury to another striker, but just sauntering back here. Maybe it's the Sydney humidity. I mean, it's dry heat in Adelaide. It's been about 400 degrees there a couple of days in Adelaide so far this week. And here's Webber able to drop into a nice little pocket and turn and look dangerous once again. And Grant trying to link up with the Brazilian lace, but unable to do so. And here's a counter-attacking opportunity for Chloe Lacazzo, who gave up on it and then thought I could get it and then gave up on it again. It trickles out.
Does look a little bit warm out there. A couple of the girls already slowly running back. But I think what Adelaide United are doing so far is quite a positive mindset with the way that they're playing. They're trying to high press Sydney FC and make them lose the ball deep in their defence. So I think that's something that Ivan definitely would have had a word with.
Top ball from Hogg there to release the right back, Emily Hodgson. And Liz Ralston is up to that particular task. Brush. A triggered pass. And they're trying to play their way out of trouble here, Sydney FC, but there's nowhere to go. Adelaide have set up well without the ball. Trying to turn over. You can see there's only Laura Johns and Amber Brooks back on halfway for Adelaide United. Everyone else really pushed up. There's in fact 7 Adelaide players in the final third of Sydney FC trying to force this turnover. Hogg's just skipped away through the challenge of Lagazzo, and Lice getting a little tricky there on the edge of the box, trying to loft it over. Didn't quite work, but again it comes for the Brazilian, looking for a 1-2 off Dorber, not getting it. Hogg, shot, cross, not sure, goal kick.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity there for Adelaide United with Kalia Hogg then just not quite a shot, not quite a cross, just a little bit of a missed kick. Here we are now. She definitely wanted more of that. I think she could see it going in the top corner.
Huerta. And is able to get on the right here for Mr. Dulu. Looking for Lagazzo, but that avenue is blocked. So back they go to Kennedy. Into forward again, dropping off the last line and turning and crossing and looking for, well, it's fallen to Remy Simpson. They were looking for Latchko. Simpson was onside and will be disappointed with what she came up with there. First big chance for Sydney FC.
Yeah, a little bit of poor defense there from Emily Hodgson. She definitely needed to flick that back over away from the goal, but good hit from Remy. It's nice to see Sydney FC looking a little bit more dangerous than what we saw of last game.
Well, they didn't have a chance to look dangerous in the first 10 minutes last week. It was fearsome from Western Sydney Wanderers, that opening. And Lynn Williams, and talking to Ali Green before the game, she's picked up a glute injury. She came off at half-time in that game, but it was, I don't think running after Lynn Williams would have helped too much as well. Kicking the ball 20 metres in front of her and making it into an Olympic sprint.
Definitely not.
Speaking of sprints, here's Charlotte Grant down the right-hand side and turns back in for Hogg, who's looking for the big switch over to Mallory Webber, but Mr. Dulu was there, didn't convince with the clearing header. And Laura Johns isn't able to maintain possession for Adelaide United. Yeah, it was, I don't care who you are, it would have been an issue last week.
Most definitely. I wouldn't want to be in that position at all.
Surprised there's not more changes for Sydney FC for this one, just the 2, 1 enforced.
Yeah, I feel like they just didn't get any opportunity last week with the way that the Wanderers were playing.
Here's Mallory Webber driving into the final third and finding Lace with a chance on goal, and it's straight at Aubrey Bledsoe, and that is the first big chance for Adelaide United. Cut apart there, Sydney FC.
Beautiful movement here from the midfield again from Adelaide United, and well-timed pass and great peel out there from Laos as well, but unfortunate shot stopped. That's when you want to try and pick the corners there.
little overly aggressive there from Emily Hodgson and Veronica Latchko. Former teammates getting reacquainted. Mr. Dulu looking for that ball into the channel for Chloe Lagazzo. We know that's a huge part of her game, running through midfield like that. Wasn't quite apparent last week. It wasn't allowed to be apparent last week, but it has been a feature so far this W League season, and indeed the whole time that Chloe Lagazzo has been a professional footballer.
Yeah, most definitely. She's brilliant on those third men runs and just creating her own space, which causes so many opportunities for herself and for her teammates. I think we'll probably see more of those runs from Chloe, depending on how well this heat goes and how they feel under this warm weather. But I think Chloe, with the way that she has been able to play in the W League, she's very dangerous, and I think that's something that Adelaide United definitely have to try and stop her when she's on the ball or making those runs through.
Wilson, the throw into Seamson, who's come out to get involved in the play. Huerta is going to switch out to Alana Kennedy, playing her 100th W League game. Quite the achievement. She's nearly played more times for the Matildas than she's played in the W League, which is extraordinary in itself. 83 caps for the Matildas, and a number of clubs in the W League, but a number of stints here in Sydney FC, which, if anywhere is going to be home in the W League, it's here with the Sky Blues for Alana Kennedy.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I don't think she looked that good playing for Newcastle back in the day when she was a baby.
She's seen most of Australia.
She really has, yeah.
That is not a bad thing.
It's always nice to have a few jerseys in the closet.
She'd have to have a big closet, especially if she swapped some after Matilda's games as well.
That's very true.
Ellie Brush. This is Ralston, who's almost camouflaged against the back of the advertising hoardings there, but Ellie Brush knew exactly where she was, well positioned, but unable to advance the ball cleanly into the final third at the moment, Sydney FC. So they'll have to try again here through the American Huerta. Polias. Mr. Dulu. Huerta again, unable to bring it under control. So situation well averted for Adelaide United. I mean, early days, 15 minutes in, but again, we've seen it so far this season, and all the highlights and games we've seen of Adelaide United. They are not a side that really deserves to have the duck egg next to their name in the points column at the moment.
Yeah, they definitely don't, and I think you can see that fire within the girls. It's always disappointing to lose by a goal each week, in and out, but they're still working so hard. They're working so well as their block. They're doing everything right.
Simpson have to do well here defensively to turn this away. Lasco's offside. Flag went straight up, but dangerous opportunity for Sydney FC. Quicker ball movement that time, causing a few problems.
Yeah, there was very nice ball work here from Sydney FC. But yeah, just a touch offside by Latchko there as well.
Even you'd say that's offside?
Her arm.
That should be offside.
Yeah.
Can't score with it, but no.
No, just a little.
Just a little.
Just.
Huerta. To Caitlin Ford this time, who's able to pick out Laura Johns and run straight at her and around her and get the cross straight into the grateful arms of Sarah Willisey. And Willisey, she's, if you're going to call anyone the incumbent, she's the incumbent for that musical chairs that they seem to play the Matildas with the third goalkeeper spot at the moment.
She's actually one of the best goalkeepers that I've ever played with. She's quite talented. The only thing that most people would always say for her is that she was too small to be a goalkeeper, which is a little bit heartbreaking because she can jump, she can make some great saves. She's got a good boot on her as well, but she's technically very gifted, and I was super proud and very happy for her to make the Matildas team and be a part of that and just see what the training sessions are like as well, because you're only going to get better in that mix of girls.
if you want to see a top-class save, have a look at the one she made against Katrina Gorry a couple of weeks ago. Gorry had a pop from about 40 metres out after the ball turned over, and Willisey got back as well as any keeper in the W League or women's football would. It was an extraordinary save. She might have a problem here, though, to deal with, because Remy Simpson's got the ball in the 18-yard box. It's blocked out. Amber Brooks is across to clear straight to the other central defender, Alana Kennedy, who thinks about going forward, doesn't need to, because there's a line of sky blue shirts waiting for that cross to come over. In the end, again, the flag went up.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was offside there. Like you were saying, there was 3 of them in the box. Great ball in. Oh, if Remy maybe didn't go for the ball at all.
Both of them may be offside. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Caitlin Ford was at the end and maybe spared a few blushes, because Sarah Willisey was there again. But yeah, you're right. I mean, use a term used in rugby league. Oh, the little player doesn't know how big he or she is, because they're out there fearsome. Same with Sarah Willisey. She plays like she doesn't know she's 159 centimetres, and she makes us believe that she's not as well with some of the saves that she comes up with.
Exactly.
Top goalkeeper, Charlotte Grant, Emily Hodgson, and the other central defensive American player for Adelaide United, Julia Ashley. Interesting story behind Julia Ashley. She was actually drafted 6th in the US Women's League by Sky Blue FC, but refused to go there. Didn't want to go to that club, and ended up going and spending a season in Sweden. Here's, oh, what a ball that was from Mallory Webber, another American, and just unable to get on the end of it was Charlotte Grant.
Beautiful turn, and like you just said, another beautiful ball in. I think that's the 3rd that she's played already in this first half. But yeah, little Charlie on the end couldn't quite get there, and it's strange because she's one of the quickest players that I know as well.
Yeah, interesting story of a player. There was 2 of them actually that were drafted quite high in that draft for last season, and they just didn't want to go to the club based in New Jersey, so they did. Weird.
It is. It's quite strange to give up that opportunity in one of the best leagues for women to play, but I guess if you don't want to live there.
There was a few stories going on about the competency of their setup, Sky Blue FC. So that's why they had maybe a few second thoughts about going there. But the point is here, we're happy to have a player of the calibre of Julia Ashley, 6th drafted player in a very good league. Means she's got a fair bit of talent out of North Carolina. Here's a problem for Sydney FC. She's going to have a pop straight away. Is the midfielder in Dylan Holmes, because Bledsoe wasn't exactly in position. That's what they're trying to do again, Adelaide United, is win the ball high up.
It's nice to see the high press. I do enjoy it. I think because we had to do that so often for the Matildas, and we were quite successful with it. But there was a great shot there, or thought, for Dylan Holmes. She didn't quite get the shot off that she wanted, but I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I know, because you had your hand up going, shoot straight away. I'm tipping you would have done exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Foul on Polias. Just a little bit there, but yeah, Teresa was certainly targeted last week, and maybe Ivan Karlovic has told his players exactly the same thing. It's a difficult position to play, isn't it? If you're the only defensive midfielder, which is how Sydney set up, it's you've got to have your wits about you 360 degrees.
Most definitely. And the one thing that I remember always playing against Polias was we'd make sure we'd try and not allow her to get the ball, because she is the playmaker for Sydney FC and she creates so many of the opportunities. Everything comes through the midfield, comes from her feet. It's either her or Alana Kennedy at the moment. But if you don't get her on the ball, Sydney FC, they lack their opportunities. So yeah, she's definitely the brains within this Sydney FC team.
Ashley's given the ball away cheaply, but Legato lost her footing as she received it, because it was 3-on-3 in front of her. They'll try again here, and it's Holmes trying to spray the ball out to Johns, who's unable to keep it in. Doesn't know it yet. Does now. Huerta out to Brush. She carries forward, taking a few touches there, unable to pick out someone directly in front, so she goes out to Ralston. They'll start again, exchanging passes out there, and as Ralston has a bit of territory to run into, but maybe a little bit of rustiness on that cross. Kennedy looking for the big switch to Latchko, and eventually does pull the trigger, but a little bit too much mustard on the pass.
Yeah, I think Sydney FC's movement was a bit still just then. Alana really didn't have much to go with and thought that the long ball was the only option, which didn't work out in her favour. But it's something that Sydney FC might have to just really think about, is maybe a little bit more movement from the nines as well. Come to the ball, collect it, turn, just try and move Adelaide's defence line, because they are in a block and they're pretty solid as a back line, Adelaide United. It's quite difficult to get through. No
foul there. Huerta can't quite believe it. She's still on the ground, picking herself up just now as Adelaide don't muck around getting the ball forward. And here's Dorber, but she's offside. Another one. So last line attacking instincts from both sides, giving the assistants a bit to do, a bit to sum up quickly. Here, oh, there's a giveaway, and Dorber is almost there in front of Bledsoe, and Ante Juric, the Sydney FC coach, he's got the teapot going right now, not very happy with what's going on at the back there, trying to play out Sydney FC, and Simpson's a bit loose in possession, battling with Hogg, but does win it back. Let's go. Ralston. Calm things a little here. That hectic minute there, Michelle.
It was a bit exciting. We feel like Chelsea Dorber definitely should have maybe jogged a little bit more to get back on side earlier. I think she would have been in a better position to get that scramble ball here. You could see Ivan putting his hands on his head, a little bit frustrated with that one. Big opportunity.
Oh, here's Kennedy's the slalom run straight through, and Simpson's offside, but that was pretty elegant from the 100-gamer.
Yeah, Alana Kennedy, full of talent. Always one of my favourite midfielders as well. So for herself to be such a quality centre-back, she has that ball control to be able to run through players and just be creative. But yeah, both the Sydney FC players just standing in an offside position. They kind of need to hold that line a little bit better.
Have you talked to her about that, about if she preferred to play a bit of midfield? I know she loves a goal.
Exactly. I was about to say the same thing. She'll definitely want to shoot more.
Here's Webber looking to turn, and Kennedy is across. And there didn't seem to be a lot of ball won there by anyone. Mallory Webber is still on the ground. And as we have a look here, I can't quite work out how that's not a foul. Gets a little bit of ball, but cleans up the player as well.
Yeah, God, Alana is definitely lucky on that one.
It's not so much about, yeah, I got the ball first. I mean, you could win the ball first cleanly and then get out I don't know, a baseball bat and hit someone over the top of the head. You think it's going to be a foul, and I'm not saying that Alana's was that brutal, but that was fortunate, to say the very least. In my opinion. I don't know about you, Michelle, sorry.
No, I believe the same as you. I definitely think it was a penalty. She went through the player after maybe a little nick on the ball there.
What do you reckon? We have another look. Okay. Sophia Huerta has been told by the referee she's maybe still aggrieved, the American, that she wasn't given a foul about 3 or 4 minutes ago. The point is that Adelaide United have an opportunity to cause a few problems here for Sydney. Ball comes over, and Brooks The central defender is up there, and it's out for a corner. Second season for Brooks, who's been at Bayern Munich and currently at Houston. On loan here for the W League season from the American League.
She's definitely a quality centre-back, one of the best defenders that I think Adelaide United have had.
Corner across, up goes Brooks. Over the top of Legazzo and unable to guide it on target. Yeah, you know a bit about her from training sessions last season.
Yeah, and she saved us a lot last season for Adelaide United. She's just one of those big, strong, quality players who isn't scared to make a solid tackle. And like you just saw there, she even goes up and attacks, and unfortunately couldn't get the ball in the right position there off that corner.
Again, it's the 7-player press from Adelaide United causing Sydney some problems. There's no comfort whatsoever coming out of the final third at the moment for the champions. So Alana Kennedy sees space and hits it into space out to Liz Ralston, and now they can get out here, Sydney. Brush into Simpson to Huerta, and another loose touch. She hasn't quite got the hang of just taking a neat touch in midfield at the moment. Sophia Huerta, it's just so unusual to see from her.
Heavy foot at the moment.
At least the Brazilian is able to spread it out to Hogg, who's chipping it out to Charlotte Grant, who's looking to link up with Dorber straight away. Just wonder, half an hour in, can you play this way, the way that Adelaide are playing over 90 minutes?
I think it's going to be tough for them. You can start to see Dorber, as a number 9, is slowly getting a little bit fatigued. Her runs aren't as sharp, and her support of her players wasn't the best in that play just before. So I'm unsure if it can go for the full 90.
So Ford and Let's Go have swapped sides. This goes now on the right-hand side. As Ellie Brush is looking to play straight through to the final line. And here's Simpson picking up the ball in a dangerous area, looking to link up with Caitlin Ford, unable to do so, and Adelaide can play out here. Through Webber. Takes on Ristadulu and beats her as well, looking for a clear option. There's none there, hesitated and gave the ball away to Legazzo. Let's Go is able to pick out Huerta, who has a pop with the left foot, and Willisey was interested but flies wide.
It's good play there from Sydney FC, just spreading the ball, taking their time to move it around, and a nice shot here from Huerta. I think Sarah knew it was a little bit wide. It was a nice attempt, but I feel like Sydney FC, they're not playing their usual style of football. They're kind of a little bit quiet in the front three, not making those dangerous forward runs or creating any opportunities within the box. So I think that could either come from the way that Adelaide United are definitely pressing their players.
Spurred a bit more confidence this time, again with the left foot. This time Willisey had a bit of work to do and did it well. It's better on the ball from the dual international, Mexican and American international, Sophia Huerta. Police the corner, looking for Kennedy, who had a bit of attention there. 2 red shirts to deal with.
A little bit of frustration on Alana's face there.
Still that wrist is bandaged after the high five gone wrong in training with Danny Weatherholt, the ex-Melbourne Victory player.
Who would have thought something like that could have happened?
I'm waiting for it to happen in the game with a poke in the eye or something to cause some serious damage. Speaking of damage, Mr. Dulu's left a bit on Mallory Webber there, and she'll be the first into the book. Webber just wants to attract the player close, just waiting for that opportunity and then go. Did it really well there.
Yeah, she's been so dangerous as well, but I think that's the third or fourth time we've seen her on the ground after Sydney FC players have come in hard on her. But she's definitely a standout player so far for Adelaide United, like you said, drawing players in, moving them around and just creating so much opportunities.
Kalia Hogg to take the set piece. Over 10 years since her one and only goal in the W League. This one's high and on target. That's a grateful recipient. Yeah, 22nd of November 2009 for Canberra United against Newcastle. Were you playing that day?
I think I was 2009, Sydney FC.
Okay.
But yeah, I think she had a little bit of a break. She went over to college, played in the States for 4 years. But yeah, it's nice to see her back in the W League. She is a talented player, just needs to get some more time and just be more around in this environment to grow and learn from it.
Today could be the day after 10 years.
Fingers crossed for her.
The second W League goal. So 35 minutes in. Couple of chances, one big one for Adelaide United, but Sydney FC looked a little more dangerous, especially when they are able to get into comfortable possession, play through this Adelaide United press. It's Polias with a fair bit of time on the ball and looking for almost directing Ristadulu to be in the position where the ball went, but Angie came back to try and receive a square pass and not be where she originally was.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating as well, but I was just about to say, like Sydney FC, they have so much quality on the field, and it's good for them to be able to use that poor possession, what they've got over Adelaide United at the moment, and the quality of players that they have on the field. They have created a lot of opportunities and chances so far. But it's just that I think that front three, they definitely need a little bit more movement to be dangerous.
Wasteful there from Willissy, kicking it to a coach. Karlovic, who's been on where he's standing right now all game.
He will not move at all. They've even fenced him in with the little foxtail signs.
Yeah. Caitlin Ford feigned to go out and went through herself, looked to try and play her fellow Matilda, Chloe Legazzo, in there, but out it comes, and Mallory Webber looking for the long ball. It's one player that hasn't quite got involved in the last 10-15 minutes is Chelsea Dorber. They haven't been able to get the striker into the game, and Webber's trying to do that right there, but she's chaperoned everywhere by Alana Kennedy, who's pulled up a little lame after that one, maybe jarring the knee in a surface that you can't really complain about this afternoon, like other times we've been here to Cogra.
Not at all. It is looking perfect. But yeah, I think Alana's maybe got a little cork or something. She's struggling a little bit there in the back play.
Well, Webber was able to turn off a ball she trapped, and she actually got away. She stood on the top of the ball, and the defender was expecting her to go one way. She went the other. She's that good. Even the little miscontrols are working at the moment.
She's doing everything right besides that ball across. I think Charlie Grant was definitely reading a different play.
Well, Lace is able to turn the ball over. Ellie Brush, he's back to help out, and speaking of helping out, Teresa Polias doing what a very good defensive midfielder does, and that's marshalling in front of the back four and getting it away. But here's Webber, who'll have a pop, and Bledsoe is down quickly and does well.
I think Webber is doing everything right at the moment. Every time she gets the ball, she's looking dangerous and creating an opportunity.
Quickly up the other end here with Sophia Huerta and Latchko linking up with Simpson, and now out to Legazzo, who has one look, has one shot, and turns around to get back into position. With Kennedy, though, she has had ankle problems.
Yeah, she got hurt in the last Matildas game. I think she went to play a ball and kicked the opponent's foot, which was just a little bit painful for her. And I think she's been under cortisone as well, a little bit of it too. So it was definitely not the greatest injury to have, but she seems okay. But it's one thing that she just keeps playing on these injuries. We need to definitely look after our players, especially someone like Alana Kennedy, who is playing all year round without a break.
Yeah, and especially with what's coming up in February.
Exactly.
The Olympic qualifiers.
We need her fit and healthy.
Ante Milicic, no doubt an interested observer of this game and all the W League games at the moment. And one's in Europe with Sam Kerr about to make a debut with Chelsea, posting on social media yesterday on the plane out of 38-degree Perth. She in for a rude shock. Yeah. She's used to it after playing in Chicago and places like that, but
it's still completely different to that. Yeah. Best of luck to you, Sammy.
Oh, John's giving it away, looking to attack on the counter, and now Sydney counter the counter, and Caitlin Ford looking to cross and slipping over at the most inopportune time. Neatly done there by Amber Brooks. Almost a dismissive bounce past to Hogg, and Adelaide United are out. Hodgson looking for Dorber. Hogg again. Holmes, back it goes for Brooks, who's looking for the big diagonal to her fellow American, who gives her the thumbs up. As if to say, I like the idea, but it's the execution next time.
Yeah, it's definitely on if Amber can hit that ball across. I think Webber is their dangerous player at the moment, so it was a smart move by her. And I'm enjoying the way that Adelaide are playing. They weren't panicking coming out of the box and just slowly moving the ball around and trying to keep composed of the ball.
It's a loose giveaway from the Brazilian lace, and Caitlin Ford was looking for the ball from Legazzo, making a diagonal run into the final third. Still, it's alive for Sydney, but Simpson again is offside.
Yeah, you can't really be offside in that position. She's the last woman on the line as well, so you'll be able to see the whole line perfectly. And for herself to step offside again, I think is the...
Well, that's actually the wrong call. Because it was Caitlin Ford that was offside, and Remy Simpson. We take it all back, Remy.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful run.
Just forget everything I said.
I was the same as you, though. I thought it was her offside. Just assumed. Here's Laura Johns galloping into space down the left-hand side for Adelaide. Dorber is unable to just bring it under control. But up comes Adelaide with a chance. Is Dylan Holmes. Huge chance. She's already had one go. That was the second, and that was a lot closer.
Yeah, nice work from Adelaide United, again, getting in the box. But yes, Dylan Holmes with another shot on target, or just off target, I should say. But that's one of the great things about Dylan Holmes. She is that one player who'll run in the box a little bit later, just holding her run to see if there's any balls that come out of the box. So hopefully she gets another opportunity like that again.
So out comes Sydney through Ford, who just decided to just run straight. Didn't even bother try to skip around Laura Johns there. Just decided the old gun barrel straight approach, and gives away the the charge, if you like, if you want to use a basketball term. Just got straight back into her, and Laura Johns held her ground and didn't do anything wrong, and Ford gives away the free kick.
Yeah, you don't see that often in the game, but Caitlin is definitely a strong woman who, I don't know, she grew up down south in Barilla, which is a little rough neighbourhood town. So she's got the wits about her.
I think she's, I'm just assuming here, but she would have been across the game growing up at school called tackle bull rush.
100%.
I reckon. How much fun was tackle bull rush?
It was great.
Unless the big kid ran at you, then there was issues. Were issues. Willisey's able to pop it out to Emily Hodgson, who does well there to bring it under control. Julia Ashley of Lace. Really just needs to bring that down and bring it under control. It was a high-risk manoeuvre trying to flick it on. Kennedy. Good ball to release Mr. Dulu. Pagazzo. Forward. Mr. Dulu didn't continue the run across the line. If she maybe just angled the run to get across, the inventiveness from Ford would have come off. Dorber gives it away. It's Pagazzo unable to bring it under control, and again a low percentage play from the Brazilian.
Yeah, I feel like she could just definitely hold on to the ball and keep possession there. There was no real defence around her. And just giving the ball away slow, like every single time she's had it in the last 3 or 4 plays. So it's one thing that Adelaide United are doing quite well is trying to move the ball, but they're making a little bit of silly decisions. Maybe the fatigue starting to try and set in now.
Yeah, I haven't got an official figure, but you're looking at humidity over the 60% mark at the moment. To run around like the Adelaide United front 3 or 4 has, trying to prevent Sydney from playing out in the first half an hour of the match. I just wonder if that's going to send the petrol gauge towards empty quicker than it ordinarily would. Sydney FC were able to play out pretty simply there.
Yeah, definitely. And you can just see now Adelaide United, they're dropping back. They're not doing that high press at the moment. So maybe it is getting to them, like you were saying, but they need to maybe think of a new game plan for the second half, because you can't do this for another 45 minutes.
Just the 1 extra minute coming. Willisey belts the ball out to Johns, who's pressured immediately by Caitlin Ford and wins it back. One more opportunity perhaps here for Sydney FC if they can get the ball forward quickly in the next 30 seconds. Kennedy. Looking for that long ball, but oh, that was a good thought from Caitlin Ford, looking for a foul, wasn't given, and now here's Mallory Webber, so perhaps Adelaide with a late chance. Dorber, one-on-one with Kennedy. Back to Webber. Cross comes over. Chance for Charlotte Grant. Was there a pullback from Liz Ralston? No, says the referee, and that'll do us for the first half. So a late chance for Adelaide United. Michelle Heyman jumping out of a seat towards the end there, just seeing if one of her former teammates could get on the end of it. But good stuff from Adelaide United, holding the champions at home. Sydney FC looking to bounce back after last week's derby. They've proven themselves to have done that to an extent in this first 45 minutes, but a lot to come and a lot of drama to come as well. At the break, it is Sydney FC 0, Adelaide United 0. And we'll be back after this short break with the halftime show with myself and Michelle.
Can you hear me now? Hello. Hi. Yeah, that's good. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Leaning? Yes. Okay.
Easy makeup. Yeah, easy makeup.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks.
Perfect. Too easy.
So Sydney chances, yep. Yep. You got a package on her. Oh. Yeah, she got the studs on the ball, but then she cleaned out the player. Can't do that. Can't do that, mate. Oh, I can't see it. It's all right.
30 seconds, guys.
'Cause- Welcome back, halftime, Cogra, wherever you're watching around Australia of this W League Round 7 clash between Sydney FC and Adelaide United. Chances at both ends for two teams at either end of the table. Adelaide United not got a point so far this season. They're not a team that deserves to be in that particular position, but at the moment they've getting their first point at half-time here. A long way to go, though, against Sydney FC, who are looking to close the gap with the two sides above them on the ladder. Adam Peacock alongside Michelle Heyman. What do you make of that first half, Michelle?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit back and forth. A lot of opportunities for both teams, but I think it's kind of even right now. It wasn't as exciting as what we both hoped, especially off last week's game with Sydney FC losing 5-0. I thought they would have come out firing. And same with Adelaide. They haven't got a win yet, so you wanted to see a little bit more. But they're both creating chances. You can see that they're both pushing for the win. But I think a little bit more consistency on the ball for both teams needs to happen.
I guess with Sydney FC's predicament, after losing the derby 5-0, you don't know exactly how it affects you until your next play. Can you see that as Sydney FC look to go into that final third, that they're, I wouldn't say unsure of themselves, but it's not quite working for them like it has been so far this season in some respects? Yeah,
definitely. I feel like they're not making the same runs in the box and around the box and being dangerous. Here's a chance that you see with Remy here, but again, the movement isn't the same as what Sydney FC are usually doing. They're trying as hard as they can, but I think they're still a little bit still inside the box. We have 2 Sydney FC players there at that chance and still 5 Adelaide United players. But again, there's only Remy Siemens in the box at the moment. There's no forward runs going through, but great hit here from Sophia Hoyter. I think she's been quite dangerous in and around the box. I think we mentioned in the game earlier that she's her touches haven't been the greatest in that first half. So if she can improve that, I think Sydney FC will have more chances to come.
Well, those two in the space of a minute kind of tidied that up for Huerta, and after that she was a bit better. But yeah, she gave the ball away a couple of times in that first half. Just a player that you know a lot of, and we're only probably going to see 15, 20 more minutes of her because we got told that she's not going to play the full game. Veronica Latsko, I think, is Sydney FC getting the most out of her talents?
I don't think so, not yet. I feel like she's been a little bit quiet in this game. We're not seeing her get the ball to feet and running at players. I feel like with all Sydney FC players at the moment, they're just standing off a little bit too much. They need to maybe come to the ball, turn, face the defenders and run at them. And I think Veronica does that best when she's running at players. But I think that's maybe one thing that Ante could say to her is just try and receive the ball at feet and run at players.
We'll see how much she gets the ball in the ensuing 20 minutes. Maybe Ante Juric might look at it and go, I'll give her a little bit extra, but they do have to look after her after that serious knee injury on the comeback trail. Adelaide United, so they don't have the strike power by reputation up front, but Dorber and Charlotte Grant in particular in that first half, along with Mallory Webber on the left, the American, caused a few problems.
Yeah, they definitely did. I think at the first 10 minutes in the game, there was these chances, and it's again Webber coming here. Great ball through, and Luaus with a shot on goal straight away. But I think even with that shot, you need to be able to place it into the corner. It's disappointing as a forward to just smash it at the goalkeeper. But here's another one from Dylan Holmes again. That's one thing that she does well, is sit outside of the box and just hope for those balls to fall to her feet and get the long shot in. But Adelaide, they're creating a lot of chances. They're doing the high press that's working really well for them. And just even that chance there, it just could have been a little bit better. I think she was just a little bit tired getting back into position, and I think that's from the high press. But Adelaide United are doing very well. They're creating opportunities. They're moving the ball around, and I think Webber is by far my favourite player for Adelaide United today. She's been very dangerous every time she's getting the ball. She's creating most of the opportunities for Adelaide United, and even with this play here by Jones running, she's the left back getting up into the box and trying to create some dangerous opportunities, and another shot again from Holmes outside the box. But I think Adelaide, they definitely just need to calm down on the ball a little bit more, keep possession, move it around, and just get the quality of runners within the box.
We don't want to spoil Alana Kennedy's day because it's a special day for her. It's her 100th W League game, but we do have to talk about this. Is she very lucky that she didn't give away a penalty in that first half?
I think so. I definitely believe she went through the player. She might have maybe nicked the ball just, but I think in any other game, that would have been a penalty for sure. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I can't quite work out. The only thing in the referee's defence, perhaps, is that she thinks that Liz Ralston has come over and maybe got involved, and it clouded her vision. I mean, we don't have VAR in the W League. I know you're happy about that, but yeah, it was maybe a little fortunate. Just on the way that Adelaide United have gone about their business in this first half in humidity, big humidity. You've sat there at half-time sometimes after you've played the full press and you've gone, oh, these 15 minutes are sent from heaven. So how do you rejuvenate yourself for the second half to be able to do it for an extended period? Maybe not the whole game, but for a while.
Yeah, I think they just need to think about it as like maybe 15-minute blocks. I think Chelsea needs to come out and just realise that she might only have another 15 minutes in her as the number 9 for Adelaide United, to be able to just hold that box, be able to press as much as she can, and when you're tired, you put your hand up and you just go off. That's always the best thing about a forward. You can always just walk away.
Fair enough. I've done all the running. I get paid the most. I'm going now. We're off to a quick break here from Cogra, but back in a moment with the second half with Sydney FC looking to break the deadlock against Adelaide United. Adelaide United, can they finally get off the mark this W League season? Find out right after this.
Awesome. It's everything that you want right now. Yeah, I was like, are you bring anything with the men's game or not? No.
Say that again. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. He hasn't got his head. He does now. Phil, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, mate.
All good, sounding good.
Beautiful. How long on the break, Graham? Well, like A-League. Welcome back to Cogra. And the half-time break just about done. With Sydney FC 0, Adelaide United 0. Game of a few chances though. And looking to right the wrongs of last week. Sydney FC, they've done well in that first half to create a number of chances. Just the final ball, the final delivery, not quite right. And Adelaide United themselves have done very, very well in that first half without their young gun in Mary Fowler. Ante Juric, Sydney FC coach, joining us right now. Ante, what you liked, what you didn't about that first half?
There was a few good things in there. It was a good, a lot of good passages, but we just gave the ball away so cheaply a lot of times. So I think the passing wasn't good at all. I don't know what or why that is, because our options weren't too bad. But we did create a few chances, so we just need to improve the final pass.
It's a bit of an unknown for you because it's about the opposition, but they did press you quite heavily at stages trying to play out of the final third in that first half. Do you expect them to be able to continue that, or have you told your players, look, keep doing it because eventually they're going to get tired?
Yeah, a bit of both, but Adelaide do that quite well, and most teams press us now because we like to play out. So we know what they're going to do, but we need to play beyond that press, which we're not doing, and that's probably why we're giving the ball away as well, and the options haven't been exceptional. So it's got to improve the options and beyond the press, and we should be okay.
Let's go. How long has she got left?
Hopefully 45. I don't think so. I think she's got about 10 or 15. So she's given it a crack, but she's obviously underdone.
Thanks for your time, Ante.
Thanks so much. Bye.
So let's see if that 15, Veronica Latsko, we're talking about the gun American for Sydney FC, who scored 9 in 12 for Adelaide United last season. As the second half gets underway, yeah, let's go see if the 10 becomes 15, becomes 20, depending on how tight this second half opens up as Adelaide United go straight forward, which is always good to see. Michelle Heyman off the kickoff. None of this kick it back.
Definitely, it's always good to go positive, and I think that's what most coaches enjoy that as well. So good start. Let's just hope we see a few goals in this half.
Yeah, it should be an indirect free kick if the ball goes back to the keeper from the kickoff at any stage. forward. Straight forward for Let's Go, who's making an outside-in run. No change for either side out of that first half. It's an interesting decision for Adelaide United to put Georgia Campagnoli on the bench this afternoon, so she might be able to provide something in the middle of the park at some stage for Adelaide as Let's Go goes straight forward and into the box. But fellow American Amber Brooks is in the exact right position to cut that one out. And here's Mallory Webber. Early ball in, but Kennedy is back. So a bit of intent early on, Michelle, in the second half.
Yeah, it's quite positive from both teams already. And just that last ball in, it's just sad with Adelaide United. You only see one runner into the box with Charlie Grant getting there. Not sure if Webber is the fastest human on earth and no one can catch up to her, but I feel like Adelaide United definitely need to get more people in the box because it's just another opportunity wasted.
Lice, the Brazilian, wasn't able to get on the ball as much as possible in that first half, perhaps told by Ivan Karlovic to sharpen up a little, and involved here. He's one player that was heavily involved, having a pop. Another one. It's her third of the game, Dylan Holmes, and that one was pretty close as well.
Again, Holmes being dangerous on the edge of the box. It's becoming one of her masterpieces is just that long shot from outside the box. But again, no one pressing Holmes from the midfield with Sydney FC.
So it's not the full press from Adelaide United there. And Liz Ralston got a little tangled up there, and taking advantage is Charlotte Grant, who gives away the free kick. It was interesting that they didn't press up the starting position of the two defensive midfielders a lot deeper. Adelaide United right there. This is going long, it seems, from Bledsoe, but maybe a tweak in tactics.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there is quite a big hole from the midfielders for Adelaide United. Maybe Luaus as well, being Brazilian, it's a completely different league. I don't think they run as much as us Aussies as well, so she might be feeling a little bit more fatigued and just sit her high as a number 10.
Here's Holmes driving through midfield, and Alana Kennedy needed those long legs right there because Chelsea Dorber was making a really intelligent run around the back. Legazzo driving forward. The link up with Let's Go, who's able to get on the other side of Julia Ashley. Unable to get the cross past the first defender. Ralston and Polias. Here's Huerta. Caitlin Ford waiting for the right fullback. Ristadulu eventually arrives and will get the cross in first time. Backstick is Let's Go, but Sarah Willis is there. Not comfortable, but did enough to collect.
And a wasted opportunity there from Sarah, just rolling the ball a bit too fast. I don't think her defender was ready.
It's going. It's Ford and Simpson looking to link up there. Simpson. It's a cheap one, cheap giveaway. Here's Lice. Imagine a Brazilian who's from Salvador, of all places, would be used to humidity, but she looks like she's struggling a little in the conditions.
She's definitely running on empty at the moment. I don't miss these days running around when it's this hot, though.
It's quite a muggy day in Sydney. Here's Kennedy. Brush thought about sending it out to Ralston, but the safer option of going back to a goalkeeper and starting again. Kennedy. to the diagonal for Licazzo, unable to get over Charlotte Grant, who's worked so well down this right-hand side for Adelaide United. Here's the Brazilian Lace. He's able to look up and move it forward. Heavy touch from Grant. It's a cheap giveaway.
Yeah, Grant's definitely got to do better there. I think that's the third heavy touch in a row coming down this wing, where she just gave away the opportunity to be a little bit more dangerous for Adelaide United.
Here's Kennedy.
Those long legs again.
Stretching out. And out to Caitlin Ford. Kennedy thinks about continuing the run in the box, but sees there's enough there, but the ball is too close to Willisey. Here's Lace. Too much on that one for Charlotte Grant. Hear that bark of Ivan Karlovic, not happy.
Yeah.
A-League coming up at Cogra as well this afternoon, this evening. Melbourne City 1v2 against Sydney FC. It's a big day for Sydney FC. Their youth league team's playing after the A-League as well, so a triple header.
It's nice to see. Good crowd as well. Come in and early and support the girls.
Mm. Well, that's the hill here at Cogra is well populated, which, as you say, Michelle, is good to see. A bit of atmosphere. So Adelaide looking to try to fashion something. They've gone okay in the opening 5 minutes of this first half, but no real chances. And Charlotte Grant, there's a little too much going on inside her head there. I think she was trying to do three things at once.
Yeah, I think it's just that lack of experience as well. I think, like you said, she was thinking of way too many things and just had to play the simple thing. She needed to either get the ball in early for a cross or just turn back out and rotate the ball around through Kalia Hogg. But again, giving away a foul in a position that wasn't really needed.
It's never good when you think of too many things at once.
Never is. It doesn't work.
No, especially as a male. One at a time. One at a time, buddy. That's all you need.
I'm glad you said that and not me.
This is good play from Webber. The ball went out. Did just about get the better of Ristadua. You get the feeling for Adelaide, if it's going to come from anyone, it's going to come from Mallory Webber.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that. She's looking very dangerous and still she's got that fight within her. She doesn't seem like the fatigue's hit her or the humidity so far.
Huerta is able to escape the clutches quite literally of Julia Ashley, who tried to pull the shirt, but Huerta was too powerful for that one. Out it comes to Latsko, who tries to get around Emily Hodgson, but Hodgson good defending, up to the task. So this shirt pull gone wrong. Need more of the shirt. Liz Ralston's come over to the bench for a bit of help from the physio. Nothing too sinister, just a drink. Here's Teresa Polias having a go from distance. Sarah Willisey was all over that one. It's goal kick hasn't gone exactly where intended.
Yeah, Ivan yelling at Sarah there for that poor ball out. I think they definitely wanted to play throughout the back of Adelaide United. I think as the time ticks on, we're going to need to see something different from Adelaide. They can't do this high press and these long balls. It's not going to work through Sydney FC.
They're flying out straight after the game. They did have the option of staying here in Sydney, but a short turnaround is maybe a few too many options available in Sydney on a night out on a Sunday night. Here is Sydney FC. Veronica Latchko, good first touch around, shot is wide. It's good play from the Sky Blues. Their most promising effort to date in this second half. Great ball.
Beautiful ball there from Huiro again. Latchko just not getting on the end of the ball. I'm going to say it again, I think, is that fatigue coming through with her as well, with her injury, and just getting her minutes under her belt.
Oh, nice little ball to Mallory Webber, who's looking for Dorber, who was on the wrong side of Ellie Brush. Well positioned, the experienced Ellie Brush. Yeah, I was going to say about Adelaide United is they're going to sleep well on the plane tonight, put it that way, and it would have been a wasted night out in Sydney because everyone would have been asleep by 10 o'clock.
Most definitely. I feel like most of the girls are going to be pretty tired after this one, and that's Sydney FC as well. With this heat, it just drains you. I think the last thing you want to do is go out.
Mind you, in Sydney, you have to be in bed by 10 o'clock. That's another matter. Cheap giveaway from Hogg there. Able to link up the down the right-hand side. But yeah, quick turnaround. They play on Friday against Perth Glory. I like their chances in that one. Perth falling in a tight one to Melbourne Victory last night. Amy Jackson with a couple of goals for Victory. Agasso looking for Huerta at the far stick, and Laura Johns was up to the task. That's very good defending, and Adelaide can break here. There is a 5-on-5 option if they can move the ball quick enough. Dorber fighting with Ellie Brush, who timed her challenge to perfection, and Dorber has barely moved.
Yeah, I don't think there was much in that tackle at all. I think the fatigue on Dorber is setting in. It is, I think, her second game only starting as well, so she's not used to playing full 90 minutes for Adelaide United, and here we go again, and that's just fatigue, that's just laziness.
It was good defending, though, from Ellie Brush, who got the distinction right between the two sports that she played. There might have been a little thing going in the back of her head going, oh, no, I'm not a GWS footballer right now, I'm a Sydney FC footballer.
Does make it a bit tricky for them once.
So Dylan Holmes looking for the quick ball forward. Been pretty impressed by Holmes this afternoon. A bit of drive through midfield.
Yeah, she's always one of those players that are underrated, but being able to play with her last season, I got to see the quality of player that she really is, and I think she can definitely stand out in W League. It's more maybe of that experience that most of the girls from Adelaide are lacking a little bit of. They don't seem to have any Matildas coming through Adelaide United. They don't have star quality like Sydney FC do at the moment, if you can count the amount of caps that are on for Sydney FC compared to Adelaide United. That's where you start to see the growth of players, and if you're only training with other players that are continuing playing in the South Australian League, it's hard to grow, it's hard to become a better footballer and gain that experience. But I think Dylan Holmes definitely does really well for Adelaide United. She's quite smart on the ball and just does the simple things right.
Yeah, Carlia Hogg is the most experienced player of W League experience in this Adelaide starting lineup, and just the 44th appearance. Here's Sydney FC, across it comes to Chloe Legazzo, who somehow didn't get something on the end of that, and Veronica Latchko as well at the far post. Oh, it all got muddled up for Sydney FC, their best chance of this second half.
Yeah, that is a definite missed opportunity there from Chloe Legazzo, but great work from Sydney FC to get those forward runs in the box, because that's what they were lacking in the first half.
It was Emily Hodgson who didn't know a hell of a lot about her clearance, which set it out for a corner, because if she didn't get part of a shin pad on it, you'd imagine that Latchko would have first goal for Sydney FC. Out for a goal kick. So a big warning sign for Adelaide United, and there's a change coming for Sydney, and it's Chloe Legazzo who's coming off on the hour mark. And Amy Sayer who showed a bit when she came on in the derby last week in a well-beaten side. It's a little bit of creativity behind the front line coming from the new-to-be Stanford collegiate player in the States.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just get a little bit more game time this week. She's a very creative player, and I think Sydney just need a little bit more of that spark in the midfield. Fresh legs always helps.
As mentioned last week, Amy Sayer, an intelligent player. Like, I mean, that literally a very intelligent player. Nearly got a perfect score in her Year 12 exams. Show off.
Just like myself.
No, very intelligent young woman, and yeah, we wish her well when she goes to Stanford. And wow, what a start to, if you want to call it adult life, that is, going to a place like that and playing some football as well. So here's Caitlin Ford skipping past Laura Johns down that right-hand side for Sydney. On the end of it is Lasco, and what a save that is from Sarah Willisey. Said it before, she's not the height she's listed at. She can just spring out of the earth, and had to right there to keep it at 0-0.
What a brilliant save there, and that's what I love about her as a player. She's just always on her toes. I think every week she's made one of these fantastic saves as well, and it's just the quality of player that she is. But another opportunity for Sydney FC.
Corner from Polias, and Alana Kennedy, free header. Can't quite believe that that isn't kept down, and the Willisey heroics aren't needed twice in the space of 30 seconds. We saw an unbelievable save in the A-League last night with Jamie Young, and that's right up there from Sarah Willisey. Top quality goalkeeping. And even the experience of Eric Mombert, who's seen his fair share of football around the world, would have been impressed by that one. The Melbourne City coach watching on, waiting to see who breaks the deadlock here. Offside is Latsko, so that I knew it. Veronica Latsko, we're told 10 to 15 in this second half. She's now into her 18th minute in the second half. So, and after that, I mean, do you substitute her now after she's had that chance? It was a great header. I mean, okay, if you're going to be picky, it could have been right in the corner, but it wasn't a lot wrong with it. Yeah,
she's still making the move. She still looks like she's on her toes. She's creating chances. She's in the box when she needs to be in the box. So maybe it is something that Ante's just going to hold on for another minute or two.
Let's see Princess Abini down there out of her seat, just doing a few stretches. So that's the option. A yellow card for delaying there for Mallory Webber. Second player in the book this afternoon. Can't run that one down, so you'd imagine that Princess Abini is the option for Veronica Latsko, and she's standing up next to the bench. Abini. It's one of those where Ante Juric is probably asking Latsko every 3 or 4 minutes, you're right, you're right. Well, of course, what do you reckon the player's going to say?
Of course I'm fine, of course I'm fine. I'm good. 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Oh, wait there. I think Princess has taken off her bib now. Veronica's such a nice girl. She would have just been like, yep, it's time.
It's well played there from Dylan Holmes again, just wanting it more than Werther, and able to send Charlotte Grant forward. Only one in the box. She's going to have to be an accurate one with the cross. Falls over the effects mic. That's the sound you can hear through your televisions. And Kalia Hogg is having a go from distance, but no trouble at all for Bledsoe.
Yeah, and in back play, you can see Ralston right now. I think she's a little uneasy. She was trying to run back and couldn't really move. Not sure if she's cramping or just... Oh, we'll soon find out.
Natalie Tobin's on the bench as well for Sydney FC. No Ali Green this afternoon, who's been playing a bit of left back for the Sky Blues so far this season. Ali with a glute injury picked up in the derby loss last week. And here is the change, and yeah, it is Veronica Latsko who's making way after 65 minutes. 65 valuable minutes as far as she is concerned, as she continues her rehabilitation from that ACL injury. And a change also for Adelaide United. On comes Isabel Hodgson for the Brazilian lace, who we thought might have been the first to tie for Adelaide United. Tried her best. The Brazilian didn't quite come off this afternoon, so it's fresh legs now, and a bit of a reshuffle, is it, up front for Adelaide? So Charlotte Grant looks like she's dropped further, and Dorber's come out to the right, and Isabel Hodgson through the middle.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried if they were going to put her in the midfield. She's definitely not a midfielder.
Well, here's Grant again. Down this right-hand side, looks up. There's only one in the box. There's now three. Late runners coming. Chance. And Mallory Webber unable to really get any meaningful purchase on that header. And Sydney FC can clear if the passes stick. Forward. Huerta and playing out to Sayer here. They're in space, and the chance for the counter is immediate. As Sayer driving into Adelaide's half, and Remy Simpson has one look up, doesn't take the chance, gives it back to Sayer, and Sarah Willesee, outstanding goalkeeping again, rushed out and averted the obvious danger.
That's the style of football that we'd like to see from Sydney FC. A nice 1-2 here with Remy and Amy. But again, great save by Sarah Willesee.
Probably Sydney's most fluent movement from back to front all afternoon.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's the first time it looked like the real Sydney FC. I think they've been a bit standoffish at the moment and just not that creative up front.
Here's a chance. Charlotte Grant all the way through. Mallory Webber one-on-one with the keeper. Great save, Bledsoe. At either end, the keeper's doing the business.
Yeah, definitely both keepers are keeping their teams in this game.
Another change coming. It is Liz Ralston to make way. Here's that chance again. Oh, the outstretched right arm. Tried to lift it there, Webber. Not a bad attempt. And Ralston, her comeback to W League football is done with after in the 68th minute. And Natalie Tobin will come on. Straight into that left back role. Holmes and Ashley and Brooks now. Dorber playing a little deeper. Kennedy and having to deal with the fresh player and Isabel Hodgson, who gives her no time whatsoever.
It's a positive run there by Hodgson as well. It's just, I think she knew she wasn't going to get the ball, but it was just making Alana work hard, and that's what you want to see from your forwards. You want to just tire out the centre back. So good work there from Hodgson as well.
Dorber putting Bledsoe under all kinds of pressure, and eventually it comes for Adelaide United, and Charlotte Grant was just unable. She was in the right spot, couldn't quite come up with the right touch, because there were three teams to have reverted to that press again all of a sudden. Adelaide, with maybe the introduction of Hodgson, has given them the ability to do that.
Yeah, I think it always starts from the number 9 as well, because they're the leader of the pack, so she's creating or making all the decisions for the other players, and if they don't move, there's going to be bigger holes for Sydney FC to go through, so you kind of have to do it, which I think is definitely a positive thing for Adelaide United.
Almost with 20 minutes to go, and Huerta comes up with the decision that she might regret right now. Remy Simpson was making the diagonal run into the box, where he was looking for that straighter ball. Lily Brush is back to cover Isabel Hodgson, who's dare say following the instruction to cover a bit of territory up there from Ivan Karlovic, and she's doing it well.
That's what you want your fresh legs to do. You want them to work. You want to put them out on the field and just make the game change a little bit, and I think that's something that she's doing.
Certainly going for it, Adelaide. There's 4 on this last line in an attacking sense. Ashley looks up and looks for the advancing right back in Emily Hodgson. No relation to Isabel, but it's gone out for a corner.
Yeah, a little flick on there from Ellie Brush to give away that corner. I don't think it's something that she wanted. But this could be another opportunity for Adelaide United to get on the score sheet. Just need one quality ball in, and maybe the looks of Amber Brooks getting on the end of it.
Ian Adam. High boot. Free kick given away. Excuse me. Drop ball. As it is when it that happens these days. Another change coming for Adelaide United shortly. Emily Condon is being readied, but here's Remy Simpson down the left, and they're going to have to be good to confuse or befuddle Sarah Willesee this afternoon from what we've seen.
Yeah, Sarah's on fire at the moment, and Remy, I don't think it was the right ball choice, but again, she doesn't have many options, or there's just not that awareness in the box at the moment for Sydney FC.
Here's Laura Johns, I should say, barreling down that left side. And again, I've said it a few times this afternoon, Alana Kennedy in the right spot at the right time.
She's been solid in the back line, Alana.
Eventually, Princess Abini wins a free kick. She'd be happy about the fact that she doesn't have to play left back this week like she did in the second half of the derby to counteract, try and contain Lynn Williams. Even Princess couldn't keep up with Williams. And here's the substitution for Adelaide. Chelsea Dorber, who's worked ever so hard up front for the Lady Reds this afternoon, makes way for the one-time Matilda, Emily Condon. She now has the distinction of being the most experienced Adelaide player out there. This is a 55th W League game. Pretty good for a 21-year-old.
Yeah, definitely. It was weird to see her not starting for Adelaide United. She is one of their main players. But I think Ivan was saying that she's been working really hard, and I think in training sessions it's just been it's hard to get a spot these days, which is what you want in our league as well. So good to see her back out there on the field, and hopefully she can use her fresh legs to keep up this press that Adelaide United are doing that's been successful for them.
Dulu keeps hold of it, and Saya finds an offside. Remy Simpson.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating there from Remy. She needs to be able to hold that line and just stay on side. It is a bit frustrating if you're not a forward and you're the midfielder making these balls in behind, and your number 9's definitely offside all the time. So she just has to, I don't know, get her awareness right, and just, I think she's a lot faster as well than what she seems. So she doesn't need to sit as high on the line. She could definitely drop off a metre or so and maybe still get behind the defence.
There's Brush, pressured again by Hodgson. And that work rate wins the ball back for Adelaide.
Beautiful turn there from Caitlin Ford.
Steady defending again from Ellie Brush. Not the ball away out of danger. To Sabini in a bit of space, able to run one-on-one at Emily Hodgson. Cuts back in, and they'll go down the right side. A misguided pass works out okay. Whoops-a-daisy. Caitlin Ford, a little stumble on the ball. Beanie stayed central and able to find Remy Simpson on a tight angle. Oh no, that is so unfortunate. It was meant to be a cross. Amber Brooks got in the way, and Sydney FC have the opener. When your luck's out, Michelle Heyman, your luck is out.
It is gone there from Adelaide United. But great work from Remy. We haven't seen her too much inside the box, creating chances. And when it comes out like that, you just got to take it. And she's pretty happy about it. I think all Sydney FC definitely happy about that one. But unlucky for Brooks there. It's devastating for Adelaide United with the amount of work that they've put in with that high press.
Remy Simpson, like all strikers do, and I'm sure you would have done this a few times in your illustrious career, Michelle, claiming that one.
You claim everything.
Claiming her 7th goal of the season, but that's an own goal, unfortunately. That's an Oggie. And Amber Brooks is the unfortunate recipient of the OG in brackets next to her name in the 77th minute. So Sydney FC inch ahead. It couldn't be, could it? It couldn't be a 6th straight 1-goal loss for Adelaide United. The unluckiest team we've seen perhaps in the history of the W League. I know the ladder doesn't lie sometimes, but it's telling a white lie. It's telling a bit of a fib at the moment.
Definitely is. And I was hoping the curse was going to be finished for Adelaide United. I do have a soft spot for them as they were my team last year, but it is just always heartbreaking. A 1-0 loss week after week. It's just frustrating because you put in the 90 minutes of work and to not get a result with the way you play. And yeah, it's just heartbreaking for the girls.
So it's a big goal for Sydney FC, keeping pace with those two, as you can see up the top, Western Sydney Wanderers and Melbourne City. And Simpson again in a free pocket of space, linking up with Princess Abini. Go with Julia Ashley, but elects to try and send a long ball over to Huerta, and it doesn't come off. Just a little loose trying to play out. They get away with it. And here's Mallory Webber running at the fresh defender Natalie Tobin, but you wouldn't think that one player's played 78 minutes and the other one's played a couple right there. That was impressive stuff from the American Webber.
Yeah, again, I'm going to say she's been by far the best player on the pitch today, I think. Very dangerous.
Speaking of dangerous, here's Caitlin Ford on the byline looking for Remy Simpson, who cuts back around the back of the two defenders that were in between her and Caitlin Ford, and Adelaide just about get away with it.
You can see the confidence shift in Sydney FC at the moment. They're the ones doing the high press.
Weber looking for a bit of a miracle ball there to Isabel Hodgson. There is about to be a change. Georgia Campagnoli is ready, just waiting for the ball to go out for Adelaide United. Just wonder if Karlovic is going to go for it. Given this record,
You'd have to, right?
I wouldn't say he'd almost rather lose by 2 or 3, but what's it matter?
Yeah, that's true. No, I guess if I was a coach, I'd just want to try and get that goal back ASAP. So I'd want to put on another forward and just maybe push a little bit.
Brilliant touch on the blind side there from Webber. Bring it down with the outside of the foot. Maintains possession going into the final third. But it has to come out because Sydney are back in numbers. Dylan Holmes out to Brooks, and out to Hogg, and now to Johns. Hogg again. It's pretty tight at the back there for Sydney FC, but they've been able to get it through, and Mallory Webber straight at Bledsoe. What a chance for the equaliser. Hands in head for the American. Not that American, the goalkeeper, who's done well for Sydney FC, Bledsoe, but Mallory Webber getting on the other side of Natalie Tobin, and this time the shoulder, Michelle.
She sets it up so perfectly here for herself, but again, we just can't see, I don't know, just hitting it at the goalkeeper again. We need to just be able to place those ones into the corners. It's easier said than done from up here in the box, but it's just a little bit frustrating, and you can see the frustration in her face as well.
Amy Sayer for Sydney FC. Zabini running at Hodgson. Coming back inside again. Huerta. Polias wants it. Gets it. And out to Christodoulou. Sends in the cross. Oh, Remy Simpson was waiting for that, but that was a very well-timed header from Julia Ashley. Yeah, there was... I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try and tell a player of Mallory Webber's quality how to finish, but you certainly can, because you did it time and time again throughout the career. It just gets back to instinct, especially in the 80th minute. As she comes off now, she's done a job, and she's holding a right arm as well. So if she's played injured on top of the performance she's put on, it makes it all the more remarkable.
Most definitely. She's by far a quality player for Adelaide United.
Yeah, it just all gets down to that practice you did as a 12-year-old in the backyard.
Most definitely. I feel like sometimes, especially with the minute that it's at right now, you just want to smash the ball as hard as you can into the back of the net. But you need to be able to bring that down, and to hit her in the chest, you need to get over the ball and just control that one down and try and hit it as low as possible, because it's harder for the goalkeeper to get down.
Loose from Bledsoe and Campagnoli, new to the game. That was a new touch as well. It wasn't quite in it. Hard one to control that pace. Tobin. Amber Brooks stepped up there, allowing Caitlin Ford in, because those inside her, the American defender, were not playing the offside trap, and Caitlin Ford unable to punish the lapse in concentration at the back from Adelaide.
Great movement from Caitlin Ford, but again, the quality just in the front with that shot just going quite high and wide. And I think it's just the lack of, she hasn't had many opportunities in this game as well.
She might get another one here. Here's Ford. Around the back is Huerta. Well-timed run. Played a bit of fullback last season for Sydney FC, Huerta, so it's a bit of a revisitation to that. Can't quite believe that's not a corner, those in sky blue. It's not. You're not going to change it.
No, but like you were saying, great run there from Huerta, and it's nice to see. You always want to have a player from on the left and the right of you, so it was good movement there from Sydney FC.
Isabel Hodgson trying to wait for the ball to sit where she could get a reasonable amount of power behind the shot. There was, but it was blocked, and away comes Sydney FC. Remy Simpson again coming off that back four to collect the ball and turn and find forward. Huerta, loose, very loose. Condon.
You have to check to that ball if you've got Alana Kennedy on your back as well, and she was even calling for her to come to the ball. But it's good to see Remy coming off her line and just changing it up for Sydney FC.
Simpson a little left on it from Amber Brooks.
It's always going to happen with Amber.
Happened at training a few times?
Oh, plenty of times. I'd rather not run near her. She's very strong.
Yep, got everything there.
Yeah.
Princess Sabini. And to Huerta. He's got Ford outside her, but elects to try and go through the traffic to Simpson. Got away with it because it fell to Ford. No, they didn't, because Ford was offside. Maybe that was why Huerta went inside with that one. You know. Graham, Adam. Someone, Adam. Is he in there? Trouble. Oh, it's just rolled away from Isabel Hodgson. And Michelle Heyman is waving her hands as if to say, shoot straight away, Kalia Hogg. Shoot, keep her out.
She was so far out of the box as well. Just hoping she would look up, but I think the defender from Sydney was right on her tail there. But another missed opportunity from Adelaide.
Mignali. Sampson, Amber Brooks, too good. Pick Sampson's pocket and looking for that channel ball through the air, and Lana Kennedy saw exactly what her fellow central defender was thinking, and was very good. And a lot of experience there from Alana, because she picked up the ball and then threw it to the ball boy just to take a couple more seconds off the clock.
It was sad that Alana Kennedy could read that play before Grant could. And that's just the experience that we have
So how much do I need to
on the
wrap
field
up
at the
the end of
moment.
this?
It's just Adelaide United lacking that experience compared to Sydney FC.
Hodgson full of running late in the game. Kaminyali just offside. Getting numbers forward. Adelaide.
Again, it's just keeping that line.
Yeah, sorry, Tori.
We just need to make sure that you hold a straight line for an Adelaide United. Georgia, she can see everyone, but still is a foot or two in an offside position.
Come on. Isabel Hodgson. Is there any interviews? What the hell's Dara doing? Does it matter? Isabel Hodgson. She just has to do one while I do the double, huh?
Definitely thought the game would have slowed down a little bit, but it seems to look like both teams are still wanting more goals, which is pretty impressive with this weather.
Brooks is fouled, so possible danger. And Kalia Hogg will be the one to send it in for Adelaide. 1 minute plus a little extra. It's a good delivery. It's a dangerous ball. Well defended by Sydney FC. Hint of a handball by Adelaide, and Sydney FC can ignore that and break. Sophia Huerto one-on-one. She just skips past Emily Hodgson. Charlotte Grant is steaming back as well, and Huerta just elects to keep possession of the ball and stay comfortable and cool amidst a bit of chaos. Kaminyali, her header goes straight at Princess Abeni, who has a shot, and what a shot it is, and that will be the 3 points for Sydney FC. Sarah Willesee couldn't do anything about that one. What a goal.
What a goal by Princess. That was just quality. The power that she got behind that strike, just remarkable. And here's a fresh player coming off the bench and just making an impact. But again, great touch. And top corner, yeah, Willesee had nothing on that one. It was just a beautiful strike there from Princess.
Just pure technique from one of the more promising young players in Australian football, Princess Abeni. It's one of those, you hit it, you hope, and then
then you can cheer.
The hopes come true. The hopes come to fruition. Great goal. And there'll be 5 minutes extra. So Adelaide United bomb forward from the kickoff. And Dylan Holmes is stepping over the ball. Free kick given away by the goal scorer. This is the reset that Sydney needed after the derby last week, and they'll go to within 1 point of the top two. Melbourne City and Western Sydney Wanderers, who for mine, Michelle, are the standout so far. I've seen them play a couple of times live this season, and just an outstanding unit if they can keep it all together. Here comes the free kick for Adelaide, and it's headed out for a corner, it should be. It is. Here's that hit again. And yeah, maybe Sarah Willis, he wasn't quite expecting that.
Almost got the fingertips to it.
From that range, yeah, still nearly sprung up and got it, but yeah. A little goalkeeping masterclass again last night from Mark Bosnich on Matchday Saturday. That's a wasted corner. And Kalia Hogg said if you're not springing a little jump in the air and springing and hitting the turf as the ball is hit, it makes it very, very hard to get that full amount of explosiveness you need as a keeper. His words, not mine. I have no idea.
Same. I don't understand goalkeepers. I don't understand why you would want the ball kicked at you all the time.
Thank God for that. I'm a happy hombre again. Little hissy fit, but I'm all right now. He goes long. Oh, great touch from Charlotte Grant, who spun out of the defensive work that was trying to be done by Ristadulu, and unable, though, to find that final ball. That's the next step. If you can do the things that Charlotte Grant just did right there, and then able to add that.
Just be able to link up with players.
Neat little touch at the end, yeah, then that's then you're really in business.
Just the one thing that they're lacking right now is that a little bit of experience.
Huerta past Hogg, and Simpson's in space here, and for some reason she went to Caitlin Ford.
Maybe she was in two minds about that one.
Maybe she was thinking Remy was offside.
Also
she
a
wasn't.
possibility.
She wasn't, but here's Charlotte Grant, pulls out. So Adelaide, what can they take out of this one, Michelle? They're sick of taking things out of games except points.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I feel like they played well. Their high press definitely works for them, but it can't last the 90 minutes, and it's just that lack of experience that they're missing, and it's just the quality of players. But I think with Webber in the midfield and up front, she's just been so dangerous and is creating so much for Adelaide United. But they got to keep their heads up and continue to just put it out there to the girls and
Here's
try
a chance.
and enjoy it.
Oh no, are we on ABC? Thanks. Yeah, but Sydney have got Canberra away and then the bye. Next two for Adelaide United, they'd like their chances, with all due respect to the two teams I'm about to list, but Perth Glory and Newcastle Jets. Caitlin Ford, Emily Hodgson, wearing it like a glove. No time on the ball that time for the Matilda, and Adelaide United can come away, but Bledsoe playing sweeper keeper. Yes. A couple of minds about what to do there, send it into Rosette or flick it back to what she did. And that's that. Sydney FC, a bounce back win. Thrashed in the derby, vital 3 points. And a 2-0 win with one of the goals of the season to Princess Abini. Well, might she smile like that. What a goal. But Adelaide United again, for the 6th time, valiant in defeat. It breaks their run of 1-goal defeats. It was pretty much that until that moment of magic from Princess Abini, Michelle. But yeah, good signs for Sydney FC. That was an important win.
Definitely important win there from Sydney FC. I enjoyed the way they played in the last 20 minutes. You got to see a little bit more of their flair and what they can actually do. And I feel like you saw the confidence grow with them after those goals. So it was brilliant work from Sydney FC.
Brilliant work by you as always, Michelle. Thank you for your company. We'll see you soon if you're watching on ABC. Thanks for your company on the W League coverage this afternoon. If you're watching on Fox Sports, stick around. On the other side of this, A-League action from Cogra is on the way.